Hi everyone, welcome to this week's recitation video. We're going to be continuing the spreadsheets that we learned on last week. A couple announcements. Well, the main one is that this recitation video is going to be spread into two different videos. I just wanted to take a little bit more time and get a little deeper into the two different tasks that we have. So we're going to work on one task today, which will be like fairly easy. And then the second task is going to be a little bit more complicated, use a little bit more Excel functions. So I just want to make a separate video for that. Okay, so other than that, the assignment for the Excel intro is due November 27th. So you have time for that. Just focus on your exam for now. And your exam is this week on the 15th to the 16th. So it's going to be the same setup as last time. You have a 1 hour time period over 24 hours to complete the exam. Make sure you review the sample questions that we talked about last week. Those should be very helpful. Okay. So I'm just going to let you guys know before I get started, the recitation attendance code is going to be flower. So just put in flower for that, and I'm going to start with the feedback that you guys gave me. So thank you for all the feedback. For those of you that responded, there were some good, there were some not so good things that I could work on. So I really appreciate everything that you guys wrote. I think the biggest one was that to review past and upcoming assignment and details, tips, etc. So I definitely should have done this beforehand and gotten your guys' feedback at least before we started JavaScript, because I felt like that would have been more helpful now that I think about it. But you know, it's better late than never. So the past assignment 8, almost half of you used your free late pass on that assignment. So I don't know how fair it would be for me to go over that. But if there's specifically anything that you need help on, you know, you can email me, or you had questions on or something, maybe I graded something wrong. That specific assignment 8, I know that was the hardest one that we've had so far. But because so many of you are still doing the assignment, I don't think it would be fair to give like a review on what just happened. So maybe for the next assignment, I'll do that. The upcoming assignment, I am going to go over assignment on the Excel, assignment 9, I believe. I'm going to do that in the second video. So the second video is going to be the second task for this recitation and then the assignment overview. Okay, so recitation examples were too easy. They wanted harder ones to help on assignments. I agree, they are much more simpler, but that is usually the format we follow. But I think this week it's definitely going to get a little bit more deeper, and I'll help you do the assignment. You're going to have more time on the assignment as well, so that might help. It's, you know, if it's breaking up into 2 parts, it's obviously going to be a little bit more complicated on the second part. But that's not always a guarantee for future runs. Okay, slower explanation recitation videos. Okay, so for those of you that wanted more step-by-step, I'm hoping this 2-part recitation video will help you. Also, for the attendance code, it's only going to be like the word flower. There's not going to be any attendance code for the second video, so it's up to you if you want to watch it or not. Okay, and keep attendance form open. So the only reason I don't keep the attendance form open past the due date is because I want to mark your attendance for that week. That's the only way we can check your attendance. You know, if I keep the attendance form open till the end of the semester, you could just go at the end of the semester and mark all of them as yes. I mean, obviously I would see the timestamps for all of them, but that would just make more work for me, so that's why I just closed them Sunday night. So, you know, as soon as you just watch, or at least by the time you hear the word for the recitation video, just, you know, put that attendance form in. It's pretty easy. Okay, is the course self-paced, or are there other resources? So yes, I'm pretty sure you guys chose this option for an asynchronous course. That's what asynchronous kind of stands for. You work on your own path during a given time frame. So this course works on a week-to-week basis. So in that week-to-week basis, you do it whenever you want. And the other resources, so other than like lab hours that I have Wednesdays 12 to 2, those are online. I also do have in-person office hours that are on Bush Hill 378 from 10:30 to 11:30. you can always email me, and I highly suggest you watch lecture videos. Don't just depend on recitation videos. That's not the whole course. Make sure you watch your professor's lecture videos. That's going to be very important. And other than that, if you still need more resources, W3 Schools is a good one, and you could always email me or the professor for anything. Okay, and then a lot of you mentioned that you like the platform I'm using to make the videos, so thank you very much. Okay, so we're gonna get started now. Okay, so I posted the example 1 Excel sheet on Canvas files for recitation 11, so I want you guys to download and open that with Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel you should have already downloaded last week, so make sure that's working. And we're going to go through a couple different steps. So this is going to be our first task, and we're going to just do this task in this video, and then the next video we'll do task number 2, and then the assignment 9 overview. Okay, so enter title example 1 in cell A1. Okay, so before I start that, I just want to show you how this looks. So once you open the example 1 Excel workbook, it should look something like this. If it doesn't, or if it does, maybe they have the date mentioned here, I'm not sure. It might be a little bit different. Let me just move this. Okay. But make sure it looks something like this. Okay. So they said in cell A1, put in the title example 1. Okay, so we're just going to put in example 1 right here. That's easy. Okay, edit title to say example 1 dash payroll statement. Use double click or function F2. Simple again. Just double click and put payroll statement. Okay, so notice how it overflows. You can always double click here and it should like auto adjust to whichever cell is the largest size. It should auto adjust, or else you can manually adjust that too. So whichever you like. Okay, and use the today function in cell A2. So I'm not sure if I went over the today function in the last week's recitation video, but similar to the sum and the average function, all you're gonna do is you go to that cell and you put equal to, and then in all caps, today. So that's just going to mark the date of wherever or whatever day it is today. So today's the 13th, so it's going to say 13th. Okay. Autofill months and overtime. Okay, so as you can see, I should have gone over this table before, but this table before is basically about a person's salary over the couple months, their commission over time, mortgage, pensions, total deductions, and basically a calculation of how much money they make, how much money they have left, and things like that. So now we want to fill in these months. So instead of manually going in, typing January, February, March, April, May a million times, you can type in one of them, January, and then you go to the bottom right, and you'll get that plus sign, and then you click and drag, and it should autofill for you. Just make this a little bigger. Okay, so it should autofill for you. And then you can do the same thing for overtime. So overtime is going to be the same for all of them. So you're just going to click and drag all the way until that cell. Okay. Autofill commission with the formula salary times 15%. Okay, so if you want commission to be 15% of the salary, you're going to take the cell reference number. So the column and the row. So this is B5. So you can put equal to B5. Remember, all you do or all calculations are going to start with the equal sign. So equal to B5, so you're referencing this cell, times 0.15. So when you do that, it should give you about 9,300, or exactly. And then instead of rewriting the formula every single time over here, you can just again click the the plus sign, and then drag it to the bottom, and it will perform that same calculation of this salary times the 0.15. Now notice the B5. I wasn't absolute referencing. Absolute referencing is what I'm going to go over a little bit later. Okay. Autofill mortgage payment. B5 plus C5 plus D5 times the mortgage rate. Okay, so we're going to add this plus this plus this times this. So absolute referencing is what I went over last week a little bit, but it's basically when you want to locate an exact cell and that exact cell every single time. Notice here I said like B5 times 0.15, and then here it'll do, oops, okay, sorry. So here it was like B5 times 0.15. Here it'll be B6 times 0.15. So it's moving on to the next one because it knows the pattern. But it's not going to do that when you do absolute referencing. So over here, you're going to do is equal to B5 all the way to C5 plus D5 times the mortgage rate, which is in cell column A, row 16. So you're going to do absolute referencing, and then you press enter. You should get about 13,410. Let me just make sure that number is right. Yes, okay. And then for this, you can autofill the whole thing by just dragging again. And it should autofill the numbers for you. So whenever you're doing absolute referencing, you're going to put the $ in front of the column letter and the row number. And that's going to locate the exact cell and just keep that exact cell for all the values. Okay. Okay, autofill pension funds. Salary plus overtime times 25%. Okay, so that's going to be similar. Salary plus, what was it? Overtime. Salary is B5 plus D5. Equal to B5 plus D5 times 25%. So you're just going to times 0.25. And then press enter. 16,300. Let me just make sure that's correct. Yep. Okay. And then you click and drag all the way to the bottom. And we'll autofill for it. Okay. So hopefully this is very easy compared to what we've been doing in the past. It will get more complicated in the second part of the video. We're going to be using more functions. This is just the basic functions that we covered in the last recitation video. Okay. Autofill total deductions, mortgage payment plus pension fund. Okay. Mortgage payment is E5, pension fund is F5. So it's equal to E5 plus F5. Press enter and drag. There you go. And 29,710. Good. I'm just making sure that the answers that we're getting here are the same as the answers that the solutions have. Okay, and then the last one is total pay. So how do we calculate total pay? So they say autofill total pay and column totals using the sum function. So to calculate total pay, you're just going to add up everything that is an income. So it's going to be salary plus commission plus overtime. Okay, so here we're going to do equal to sum. And instead of writing B5, C5, D5, you can just put the starting value, that's B5, and then put colon, and then just put D5. And then press enter. You should get 74,500, and then you click and drag for the rest of them. Okay. And then for column totals, you're going to do the same thing. So we're going to need a column total for each and every column. So you're just going to put the equal to and the sum, and then the starting cell, and then you can click and drag. and make sure you put your parentheses, you should get 584,400. So let me just quickly do that for all of them. Okay, so you should have something like this. After creating all of the column totals and the total pay. Okay. And now they said make a new column, net pay, in I4. And we're going to use the formula total pay minus total deductions. And you're going to compute the column total for that column as well. Okay. So net pay. So now this is going to be different because in here you have to calculate, it's not just the total pay of what you're getting, you're going to take out the deductions. So you're going to do the total pay minus total deductions. So that's going to be H5 minus G5 equal to H5 minus G5. It's 44,790. Let's just make sure. Perfect. Now click and drag. Very simple. And this last one, we're just going to do the sum of all these values. There you go. Okay. So after doing it, you should have a table that looks like this. Now, obviously, this is a very ugly looking table, but before we get to designing it, we're going to do one last thing. Add the label average in cell G16. Okay, and then we're going to add average function to compute the average total pay, and then the average total net pay. Okay, so G16, okay. Also, if you don't want to like match the column and the row with your eyes, once you select, it'll pop up over here, whatever that column and row is. Okay, so put an average, and then over here we want the average of all of this and the average of all of this. You can put equal to average, and it already pops up, and you just click and drag. Equal to average, click and drag, enter. Okay, make sure the numbers are similar, and yep, we're good. Okay, so now that's done. Now we're going to do a little bit more of the styling and making it look neat and everything. So rename the sheet main formulas. So to rename a sheet, you're going to go down to the bottom. You're going to either click with 2 fingers or double click depending on what type of computer you're on, and then it says main formulas. Okay, press enter and that should save. Display for, okay, you can skip that. We're going to add a header and a footer. So if you wanted to, add some more styling, you can add a header and a footer. So you can just go up here and you can type in header or footer, and this should pop up, and it'll give you a little place at the top where it'll say add header, and then you can put in your name and then the date, and then for the footer at the bottom, it'll give you an option to put in the page number. If you don't want the page number, you can put in your own information as well. That should be fine. And make sure you are saving this as well, because I don't believe autosave is turned on, at least for me, because it gives me the option to turn on autosave. So save it. because you don't want to close it and then lose all of it. It's not like Google Sheets or Google Docs. Okay, so format cells as percentage and as currency where appropriate. Okay, so it says right click and choose currency. You notice the difference? Okay, so all of the money items we want to do as currency. So let's take all of the salary, for example. We'll highlight, click with 2 fingers or on Mac, I believe double click for Windows, and then you're going to go to format cells. And then I'll give you this little pop-up. And since this is all currency, we're going to click currency, and it's going to give you a little sample look of how it's going to display. You just press OK, and basically all it does is add the dollar signs, the cents, the commas, make it look all neat. Now for the percentage, like this mortgage rate would be a percentage. You can do the same thing, press format cells, and you click percentage, and you press OK. Now it turns into 18% instead of 0.18 before, which kind of looked a little bit ugly. Okay, and let's see. This is the part where you can make it look all nice and cool. You can format it, change the font size, the heading, colors. You can merge the title. You can auto format table, highlight cells, change row height. So that is all up to you. And then just to make a copy, I'm just going to go over that again. To make a copy, or to make another sheet. To make another sheet, you just press the plus sign. To make a copy, you just click, and then you press move or copy, and it should make another one. So once you change up all the colors, changing up all the colors, that's I went over last time, but you just select, and then use the different icons, the fill icon, or the font color changing icon. Once you do that, it should look something like this. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but this is what like a neater example would look like. Okay, so in the next recitation task, we're going to go over something a little bit more complicated with more functions and newer functions that I'm going to introduce, but for now, this is it. The recitation attendance code, I think I said, was flower, so just put that in, and I will have the next video up as soon as possible. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.